Guys, if you
Go
all of
ahead.
you can switch on your video, it would be a great motivation for me.
Go ahead,
All
Meena.
right. A very good evening, everyone, and warm welcome to all of you. I am Meenakshi Malhotra, and I'll start with a quote which I really believe in. Life is not the party we all hope for, but while we are here, we should dance. Talking about me, I'm a fun loving person and I love to spend time at home. And professionally, I work in a talent team with a marketing communication agency. I'm a Delhi Height. And whosoever has grown up in Delhi would realize that we Delhi Heights really keep on struggling with the change in weather. Starting of the years starts from winters, and then we have summers, and then comes autumn. Over the years, we have spring, and then we keep on struggling with weather. Over the years, I kept on wondering whether I'm a winter person or a summer person. But recently, I realized that washing utensils in winters can be quite challenging. And then I figured out I'm not a winter person. Well, a lot of people, behave differently with different weathers. For example, my family loves to spend time in kitchen in winters. Apart from eating, they also like to warm their hands on the gas, considering it's an Angiti. Well, we all have our turns on the gas to just warm our hands on that. All right. All of you must have seen this series, which is well-known series Game of Thrones, right? In that, there's a very famous dialogue: "Winters are coming," and that's what I fear most of the time. So, all right, pretty much about me. So, today's meeting is divided into four parts. The first part is a keynote speaker, which is one of my favorite section. And the second section, we have question and answer. And the third would be storytelling, which with none other than Paramjot. And I'm really excited to listen to that story. After that, we have fourth section, which is called audience round, that we would have some fun element, which all of you can hope for. Moving on, let me share a quick story. Two people, okay, Puff and Time. Puff and Time always had a competition among each other. Puff said that how can I manage time more effectively? And finally, he gave up on time. And then he asked, what is it that I need to do, time, to manage you more effectively? On which time replied, saying, make me your partner, not an opponent, and then I'll be with you always. So, with that story, I would like to share that our time partner is Santhya. She's part of the Oracle Toastmaster Club and her hobby is art and craft. Santhya, that's my favorite hobby too. I really like art and craft. And nowadays, considering my daughter and her school, I have to do it. I might call you for a few tips. All right, so let's begin with our first section now. I would like to introduce this person with a quote which she believes in. She says, knowledge shared is equal to the knowledge squared. Out of over to our keynote speaker, Shradha Bhajanka, someone who believes grooming children from grassroots level. She runs a preschool known as Kids Campus International. Apart from that, she has also been associated with Toastmaster from 2019. She has been VP Education and also currently working as a president of the club. She has also been awarded as a champion in the humorous speech contest and district finalist in international speech contest of District 41. It's our privilege to have you, Shradha, with us today. I just can't wait to listen to you. Over to you, Shradha. A warm welcome and an applause to you.
Thank you very much, Meenakshi. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. Now, a quick question, a repeat question. How many of us like to hear stories? I would request everyone to please switch on your audios. Let's make this more interactive. Yes, we all love to hear stories. Yes, we all love to hear stories. Now, as a child, how many of us have heard stories from our parents, grandparents, or teachers? Yeah. And have you ever heard your parents, grandparents, or teachers mentioning that even they used to hear it from their parents, grandparents, or teachers? And even they must have heard it from their ancestors, right? So this trend of storytelling is an age-old craft which has been passed from generation to generation to generation. Let me take you back 44,000 years back. How do we know the stories of the early men? Their life, their surroundings. It's through cave paintings, right? What about the holy scriptures? The Bible, the Quran, the Gita, the Upanishads, the Vedas. What do they have? Lessons, value, information, everything in the form of stories. The wonderful books that we read, fiction, non-fiction, self-development, autobiographies, they all have values, lessons, and information, but everything in the form of stories. So why are stories so powerful, prevalent, and persistent since thousands of years? Because as per research, a human brain filters information, values, lessons in the form of stories. It releases hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, which creates that emotional connect, the bond between the storyteller and the listener. Now, all of us have a unique story to tell. Everyone has a unique story. Yet only a few storytellers, they connect with the audience. They keep them hooked onto your content. They mesmerize them. Why is it so? Today, I'm going to be infusing a few ideas as to how you can stand out from an ordinary storyteller and be a story shower. And this is in context to being with a live audience, to being in front of the camera, to be on video. Okay? Now, before I begin, I want to give an example. And through that example, we will work on the bullets. So here is a short story showing from my end. Sabrina, why can't you learn from your sister? Just look at your scores and look at hers. Why don't you learn from her? Don't you want to be like your sister? Sabrina, my 7th grade batchmate, was being tongue-lashed by her mother standing outside the principal's office for not being as good as her twin sister, Katrina. While the other children walked past, giggling, murmuring, exchanging comments, Sabrina stood still with her head down and eyes fixed on her report card. She looked like a statue made of rock stone, oblivious of her surrounding. Now, I was at the window of my classroom and was a part of the insensitive bandwagon of mocking at Sabrina. The next day, Sabrina's twin sister, Katrina, the topper, the dancer, the debater, she was surrounded by her genuine or maybe fake fans, while Sabrina, the quiet, shy, and introvert girl, was sitting in one corner of the classroom, scribbling in her blue notebook. She was always in her own world where no one could see her or her treasure, the blue notebook. And strangely, I felt as if the only time the two sisters were together was in the womb of their mother. Katrina never bothered about Sabrina or vice versa. 4 years later, it was our last day in school. And everyone was in the school auditorium to attend the prize-giving program when I came to the empty classroom to fetch my stuff. And I saw Sabrina's treasure, the blue notebook, on the desk. How could I miss the opportunity to peep into her mind? So I picked up the book, and as and when I started to turn the pages, I was amazed by her work. It spoke 1,000 words. And it was screaming, I am who I am, and I beg you to love me and not compare me with others. The silent images painted a vivid picture in my mind as to what she must be going through. I was engrossed and spellbound by her work when someone just snatched it from me. Sabrina was standing there, glaring at me, and without a word, she rushed out of the room. It was the last time I saw her. Okay, so that was an example. Now, let me get started with the presentation. Okay. So, how should you show a story? Firstly, most importantly, you got to feel what the character is feeling. If you feel, only then the audience will feel. If you are into the shoes of the character, you can make the audience feel it as well. So that is the key. Get the correct mindset, get into your character, and then the audience will automatically. Okay. Next, the voice modulation, it plays a vital role in story narration. If you are happy about something, sound like one. If you're compassionate, sound like one. If you're shocked, surprised, sound like one. If you're witty, sound like one. So your voice modulation, the pitch, the volume, the highs, the lows, and if you're playing characters, yes, vocal variety also helps, right? This is really crucial, the importance of silence. Guys, sometimes silence speaks more than words. You need to identify your short pauses. We do not rush it. Not long pauses, but those short pauses really helps the audience sink into the story. Sabrina standing here, she rushed out of the room. Pause. Let the audience visualize it. It was the last time I saw her. Yeah? Eye contact is essential, especially in this virtual world. You need to look into the lens of your listener. You look into that little light in your laptop or identify the lens of the camera of your mobile and look into the lens of the listener, because then they will feel as if they're talking to you instead of looking at the participants or yourself. Next up, this is your trump card, your hand gestures and positioning. Now, you know, our brain, it works through pictures. So if we create that image in front of them, your audience will be able to visualize that incident, that visualize that story. So get this. You look into the lens, the audience looks into your eyes, and your eyes sometimes follow your hands. So when Sabrina was standing here, being tongue lashed by her mother, I was here at the window of my classroom and was a part of the insensitive bandwagon. So what happens is when you are looking, I mean, the audience is looking at you into your eyes, and your eyes get diverted to your hand sometimes, their attention also goes in there and they can imagine the positioning of the characters. When Sabrina was standing here glaring at me, I looked over there and the audience could visualize, okay, that's where she was. So we can position with our hands by looking at our hands. Okay? And finally, the most important thing is your energy, your passion, your confidence, your certainty. You got to be confident, you got to be certain, because confidence is like the reflection of your inner self, the relationship with your inner self. You own the story, you own your voice, and you got to say that with confidence. So this is your story. And if you are confident about it, it comes out confidently and the audience feels like, wow, what a storyteller, right? So that was a short presentation and I'll just stop sharing my screen. I hope I could impart some value and I could help you guys become better storytellers. And I'm really, really looking forward to more from you guys. Thank you very, very much for hearing me out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shradha. So now we start with our question answer round, second section. Anyone who has a question can raise their hand and type on the chat box also. All right, we have Haritosh. Haritosh, over to you.
Hi, Shradha. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. Uh, while storytelling, one of the point you mentioned is about voice modulation, and that is something I struggle with. Do you have any tips like how can we do if I want to give a female voice or kid's voice? Do you have any quick tips for that?
When we talk about voice modulation, it does not mean that you have to sound like that vocal variety, because sometimes it might feel odd when you are trying to imitate a woman or a child voice, right? So what happens is maybe the character, like for instance, if you want to talk about the child, you can get that little in your vocal variety, but instead of that, it is the nature of the child. Papa, I wanted what I want. Can you please give me that doll that I'm asking for? Okay, so you get into the character and uh, just kind of visualize that if I was a child, what would I do? Right? And it's more of the excitement. You're supposedly a child will not be a very serious one. The voice will not be a very serious or a subtle one. It will be that excited and that jumping and pumping. So instead of trying to sound like a squeaky voice, for example, when you did the story of the saint and the snake, which was so interesting. So for the snake, now we cannot sound like a snake, right? But what we can do how to identify is the snake is hissing and he is in that killer mode. So when you get that in your expression, so it's your expression. If you and more than that, if you make a video of yourself, if you hear out yourself, and where you feel that yes, this is where I can probably work on, then yeah, you should hear yourself more. And instead of working on the kind of vocal variety, work on the character of the character.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Uh, Shraddha, I have a question. Now, generally when we talk about, especially from a virtual workshop, uh, when there are people who want to listen to you, the job becomes easy. But there are a lot of people, those who are there because their managers want to be there. From an office context perspective, how do we ensure that, that what extra can we bring on the table apart from storytelling, that we are able to gain attention from those people who are there because somebody else wanted them to be there?
Abu, I'm sorry, I do not understand the question well. Could you just
So,
elaborate?
yep. So I am part of the learning and development team.
Okay.
We conduct
Okay.
workshops. Okay.
Okay.
So mostly the participants who are part of the workshops are those participants who have been recommended by the managers.
Recommended by the managers for what?
Managers to attend my workshop.
Learning
So
and development.
Yep. Workshop.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
there is a possibility that I have got like 4 or 5 people who are not interested in attending the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What can we do from a storytelling perspective to get their attention as well?
How about involving those people and how about telling them to come in the forefront? If they're a part of the workshop, like certainly we do certain kind of activities in our group as well, right? So stories will obviously try to keep them, listening to stories is also interesting, but narrating it as well. Giving them the opportunity that come forward, tell me your story. What are you going through? And be there on the platform and let basically be the audience you want your audience to be. Create that audience for them. Yeah. Just one second. I'm sorry. Yes.
You don't have to be sorry. That's part and parcel of
Yeah,
Working
it's
from home.
working from home, correct.
Cool, cool. I got my answer. I got my answer. Thank you so much, Shraddha.
Anyone who
Thank
has a
you.
Hi,
question?
Shradha. Another thing is that what Abu asked just now, they can have role plays also, isn't it? In order to involve everybody, they can have a small role play, a drama kind of thing, in which everybody will be like. That's what we do with the students also. When we do in the school, when we give them a role, each of them, I think everybody gets interested. Even if they want to listen or not, everybody gets involved in it. That is another way, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect. Yes, basically in school, if you really talk about the naughtiest girl in the school is appointed the monitor. That is the solution. Get them involved and you'll get it rolling.
I have a
Right.
question, Vinita.
Right. So
Yes,
the next
Vinita.
question we have from Sneha. Sneha, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Meenakshi. First of all, I would like to say that it is really awesome story and awesome session. Thank you so much, Shraddha. I really enjoyed it. So I would like to ask you how one can start a storytelling. Like definitely you have also started from somewhere, and right now you are in a position that you can gather the attention of the audience. Like I was really hooked to your story. So how one can start? Like I am also an educator and trainer. So I would like to hear from you. Actually, earlier I was in corporate, but right now I shifted to uh, education field. So I would like to hear from you.
Sneha, you have an excellent platform to start. Being an educator, you already have people who are going to hear you out.
Yeah.
Okay. And there is this wonderful quote by Zig Ziglar, which I keep mentioning, that you don't have to be great at something to start. You just have to start to be great at something.
Wow.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you just have to begin, start working on it, and keep practicing. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Okay. So if you are aiming for progress, if you are wanting to be a better version of your own self, you will be where you want to be. Because there is no upper limit, you can just keep soaring and soaring and soaring. So you being an educator, you already have a platform to begin with. So get rolling. We want to hear you next.
Thank you, Shraddha. And one more thing, how I can connect with you?
Perfect. Yes.
So is there any email address or contact number?
I can share it. I can share it.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Shraddha.
Most
All right.
welcome.
We have a lot of questions coming in. So next one is from Mohammad Khagdi.
Hello, and first of all, I have to say, Shraddha, the immense value. There's a lot of things, and thanks a lot for this. My question was that usually we have a lot of stories in our life itself. I feel that there's a lot of stories in our life which needs to be said before we actually search for other stories. Now, when I'm speaking, I can, on the flow, while I'm conversing with somebody, come up with a lot of my stories, and a lot of past stories can be sprouted up. Now, when I'm writing down a speech or I'm trying to write down a story, what happens is that I feel like a block. I cannot discover my stories or my experiences, and it just goes away. It doesn't happen when I speak to somebody, but when I'm trying to sit down and write it down, that feeling doesn't come up. So do you face something like that, and how would you advise me to deal with this?
That's very interesting. It's called the writer's block. It happens. It does happen again with practice. I'll explain this with the help of a metaphor. Like supposedly there is a tap that there's no running water. You go to this haunted place, and when you open the tap, there's a lot of dirty water coming out first, right? And after that, the clean water starts to come in. So if you start to write, when you write, firstly, you need to be in the correct mindset. Okay, you need to be knowing that this particular incident I'm going to be writing about, it's your story. You've lived it. It's your life. So live it again in your mind. Get into that mood again. Maybe for me, when I started, I used to set 20 minutes alarm. I mean, I really work on this Pomodoro technique. I know it's a 20 minute stuff, 20 minutes work and 5 minutes break. So I just used to set a 20 minutes alarm for myself. And for 20 minutes, I would just go on and on writing. Whatever comes to my mind relating to that particular story that I want to talk about. And then later you can keep refining it. But at least you'll get the theme, at least you'll get the outline of what you want to say. So, it happens, your thoughts are scattered, you have so many things in your mind, but you don't know how to connect the dots. If we try to inculcate the habit of writing every day, the dirty water will flow initially, but later on the clean water will come out. Yeah, I
Thank
hope
you.
that answers.
That answers my question.
Thank you.
All right. So next question we have from Vinita. Vinita, can you unmute yourself and ask?
So much. Hi, Shradha. So my question is, so I belong to a life insurance industry where storytelling is one way where we do selling, concept selling kind of, right? हमें storytelling के through हम करते हैं. So I want to understand, so when I speak to the customers and that storytelling comes and where I have to relate with that happening kind of thing. Sometimes it becomes किस तरीके से हम बात करें कि हम उस बात को रख भी दे और सामने वाले को फील नहीं हुआ कि मैंने उसको बोल दिया काइंड ऑफ ये जो टफ टेलिंग जो होता है पार्ट होता है उसको हम किस तरीके से कर सकते? I don't know I'm able to explain you or not.
No, I think what you're trying to ask is, Vinita, let me see if I can get it right. Maybe doesn't come to your mind that what story should I share in that particular context that your customer, whoever, is able to resonate with you.
They are able to
trying to ask me that.
No, they are able to resonate, but that storytelling के अंदर में जो वो tough part होता है, where I speak about the death part, kind of that mishappening and misfortune. तो उस तो storytelling के अंदर में जब मैं उसको बता रही हूँ, तो how I want to understand कि as a storyteller, is it like what are the ways I can express, that expression how could be kind of.
Yeah. So I guess in that case, you yourself first have to be a little compassionate. Because if you talk about some certain misfortune, I keep this story bucket. The story bucket is when you are a little observant of your life, whatever shots, the small incidents, because the small happiness and the small grief makes up your life. So if you keep those in your mind, and especially, it's difficult, but if it's relating to misfortune, okay. So if you share your pain or your grief, then the other person automatically connects and he shares his grief as well, for which you have to be courageous enough to be vulnerable. If you feel that this is what I can share with my client and maybe my client will be able to connect with me, go ahead, because if it's a one-to-one stuff. But in that case, of course, you also, I think you should try and create a story bucket. Look out, maybe not yours, maybe some other client's story which you don't want to reveal the name of, but keep notes of those stories. That may help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, the next question is from Ritika.
Hi, I've also started with storytelling recently, so I want to ask then how to choose stories. Like there are so many stories nowadays on different topics, so how to choose one for the correct
choose
audience?
The story as per your audience, what your audience will want to listen to. Okay, if you are in a group of children, I think you're an educator, right, Ritika? So if you are with children, choose a story that they will want to listen to. Not very intellectual, not something about really self-development, maybe Aesop fables or something which has lessons. Similarly, if you are coming here on this platform, choose a story that may be relating to your own life. And to be honest, your life story can never go wrong. Are you there with me, Ritika?
Yes.
So whenever you see the audience, the theme, the audience, what they would want to listen to. And then you pick up a story.
But like in personal story, like we know the story, but putting that personal story in words is like a bit difficult for me. That's where I face problem.
Yes, it is a challenging task. It comes with practice, my dear. The more you start to write, the more every day, make it a religion that every day I have to write for 15-20 minutes. Or for that matter, There are various apps also where you can just say the story and it gives a transcript. There is this app called auto.ai. I can put it in the group. It's called, oops.
Time is up.
Yeah. I'll just put the app in the group. So it's this wonderful app. So whenever, if you have something in your mind, your particular situation, that this is the situation, I don't know how to put it into words, then just say it as if you're talking to a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Shradha, for answering all the questions and answer. And I think I also have a couple of questions for you. But as we said, that time is our best partner, so we have to kind of keep that into account. All right. So moving on to our third section, storytelling. Our storyteller is a digital marketer by professional, and he says that he's a storyteller by heart. Paramjot Singh, he helped few brands humanizing their communication through innovative stories and is currently working with Payback India. Apart from that, he has served as vice president and president with Toastmasters International. A few adjectives which define him: dedicated, fun loving, and very helpful. He is always available to help everyone around. And with that, we have our story coming our way, which is Rimzim. All right, over to you, Paramjot. Paramjot, you're on mute, I guess.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Hope you can hear me and see my slides also.
Perfect. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Have you ever tried this amazing masala drink called Rimjim? If not, then do try it because it helps you in smooth digestion. Today, my story is not about this masala drink only. It's about my friend Prateek, and this is me, just 7 years back. Prateek and me, why I'm sharing this story with you, because Prateek and me used to have this thing together, usually not to only digest food, but to digest some hard feelings and emotions in our life. One thing is very beautiful about friendship, and this is a relation by choice. Prateek and I are friends from childhood. I know him more than 15 years. We live in same colony. We played with same childhood friends. We started in same tuitions. And one thing I really like about my friend Prateek, that he is quite inspiring. If you have good inspiring friend in your life, give a pat on your back and share their names in the chat box. Now you must be wondering, Rimjim and Prateek, why it is related? As I told you, Rimjim played a very important role when we were upset, when we were going through tough time, because we have made a pact. Whatsoever our life situation will be, we're going to drink Rimjim and digest all together with Rimjim. So in year 2016, I started my career in marketing, and Prateek joined Merchant Navy. If you know Merchant Navy is a quite costly career to have. His father took a huge loan on his shoulder to enroll him for Merchant Navy. And the family was going through very tough time. Prateek got failed thrice when he joined it. But he has a never give up attitude. He ensured that he is working on himself daily. Finally, we have a ray of light. Prateek got recruited as a trainer on a ship with 50,000 per month salary. Family was happy. We were very happy because he got enrolled as a trainee at least. After a year, he came back to India to pursue the next step, and that is to become the second Navy officer. Again, he faced many failures. Failed twice. The debt was getting increasing day by day. It was so hard that his father started driving an Uber. One day, me and Prateek was walking in our colony, sipping Rimjim and discussing about our life. And we met one more old friend And in the conversation, that friend told Pratik that your dad is an Uber driver because he dropped me this morning. Pratik smiled and said yes. After that friend left, he cried a lot because in Merchant Navy, when he enrolled as a trainee, he started calling him captain.
Time is up.
I'm just completing in one 30 seconds from me.
Yeah.
Finally, in January 2020, a company approached Pratik, but there was some reason they were not helping. Pratik had good times, Pratik had adventures, and then we only left with one solution, that is to tweet the headquarters. We tweeted the headquarters, they saw our message, and within 2 weeks, Pratik got the job. And again, we had rimmed him to digest the fact a tweet can help you digest many. A tweet have landed him and made him a second officer. Thank you. That was my story.
Thank you so much, Pranjal. What a wonderful story. I am going to try that drink for sure. All right. The next in the first section is audience fun section. All right. So we would be giving you a few topics to start with, and you can share your names in the chat box.
Meenakshi, we have got Mayank and Sudeep.
Mayank, everyone, can you see my screen?
Yes, Meenakshi.
Great. So Mayank, you have this topic, and here you go. You have gone to another company to give an interview and noticed your manager is also waiting for his and her interview. Over to you, Mayank.
Okay, so because I was in a interview, I was going to the interview, and my manager was also there. So I got surprised, like why he's here, like. So he was like, so I said hello Rahul. He said, oh hello, what are you doing here? So I was like, I'm for the interview here. So he was like, oh I'm too. So and you know the what is the best part, like we applied for the same uh post. Like we are there for to be a halwai. So we are like because I love cooking, and I wanted to become a halwai. I mean a cooker, and I mean not cooker, not pressure cooker. I mean who cook things, what we call the chef, not chef. So he was also there. So I was in my the same blazer I'm wearing. I was in that, and we were waiting for the interview, and we were there, and then a lady came in, and she was like, do you know how to make jalebi? And I was like, yeah, I know that. And she got impressed, and she asked the person like who was just sitting behind me. His name was Rahul. He was my manager. Do you know how to make jalebi? He was like, I don't know how to make jalebi, but I know how to make mad. So she got irritated by his answer, because he was like, okay, you are here for making us mad. So I got the job because I know that how to make things round. And my mom used to call me like he's a person like jalebi. Like when I was a kid, people used to call me like he's very decent. He was very kind, or like I don't have that word, like he's very simple guy, he don't know anything. So my mom used to say he's like a jalebi, he's not a good person, kind of that. So yeah, that's why I got the job. So yeah, so
Time's up.
I'm a cooker. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful story. I think this was the biggest laugh I had during my day. All right, so we have next storyteller, Sudeep. All right, Sudeep, I am going to share my screen so that you can have a look at the topic. Give me a moment. Here you go. When you are stuck in an elevator with a boy or a girl you like.
Thank you very much for the topic, and this is the topic that I always dream. So this it is a dream coming true.
All
So
boys' dreams.
yeah. So what else you can better ask for? So while dreaming, the next to me was Katrina Kaif. So I approached. So I saw her and I was just stuck in between, and I asked her, "What is your new movie that you are working on?" She did not have any option because we got stuck in an emulator, and she has to answer to her best fan that she believed. So she answered me in a very rude manner, but I appreciated the entire conversation. And I asked her one question: if you were not supposed to become an actor, what you were aiming for in your life besides acting? Then she thought that some smart approach is being approached to just get me on track. So she replied that if acting was not the career that she chosen, she would like to become an architect. So I could recollect that the song of Rajesh Khanna, that और देवानंद, आपके घर के सामने अपना घर बनाऊंगा झूठा नहीं. I'm that type of song I recollected, but I could not narrate that song the way that I did. The second question which I asked her is that uh, who is your eligible, I should say, partner which you would like to marry apart from your acting career? Any person which you like to admire in terms of getting married, your life partner, and something like that. She replied me, this is the common question which always are being asked by the press. I would like to marry a person who is wealthy, who is having a power in the society, and let's see. Money is on my radar, and I will let's see how the things work. The third question which I asked her is that do you know how to cook Indian food, or are you just pretending to see how the food is being going on? She replied that
Time is up.
Wow, Sudeep, what an amazing story. I wish it comes true for you. Definitely one day it should. All right. So our next speaker is storyteller is Haritosh. All right, Haritosh, I'm going to share my screen. All the best. You have got attention from everyone at the gym as you have added extra weight to the bench press, only to realize that you cannot even lift it. Over to you, Haritosh.
Today I'm going to rock. Today is the day I'm going to lift 15 kilo. Okay, I think I've got the perfect audience now. Okay, I shouldn't say that to everyone that I do not lift. Let me check. Excuse me, is there a problem with the machine? I think it's stuck. Can you call someone? Yeah, it was working all right. Yeah, it was working all right 5 minutes back, but I think when I put that extra 5 kilo, I think it's stuck. Let me try once more. No, it stuck. Why don't you guys get good instruments? We pay you so much monthly fees, you can't even get good instruments. Sir, it's not the instrument, it's you. All right, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a good coach, Abu. He makes me practice every day. You can't blame me. I think you should get your machine replaced. There is some problem with the machine. Sir, it's not the machine, it's you. Okay, you come, you try. Okay, I get that. I did not had my protein shake today. That's the reason. Okay. Yeah. I think in the market there are a lot of duplicate proteins, and this protein actually, yeah, made me exhausted. I'll come with the real protein tomorrow, and you see, I'll lift 25 kgs. Right, Abu? Over to you.
Awesome, Haritosh. Awesome. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure that in real you can lift that up. All right. So, moving on to our next storyteller, Taiba. All right, here we go. I'll just share the screen. Taiba, you thought that you had muted your Zoom call and farted out loud, only to realize your call was not on mute.
Well, it's time to share my embarrassing Zoom stories. Uh, this morning, what I had a very spicy food, and that took a toll on my stomach. In the evening, when I was all excited for my global online meeting, where there were people from not just from India, there were people from China, there were people from US, there were people from UK, there were literally people from all parts of the world. And what to hear? Just that stupid fart. Seriously? There were good things that I did in my life, but no one heard all those things. And what did they all listen? This stupid thing. Well, I was embarrassed. And what could you do to undo that thing that has already happened? You just laugh along the crowd. Well, it just happens. Spicy Indian food, gas, and then under pressure of public speaking, what happens is this: you fart online and 50 people hear you out. So I guess before you go to a public speaking event the next time, my mentor used to always say, Taiba, have light food when you're going for a public speaking event. But I, being the food lover that I am, I can't stop eating my biryani and masalas and all those heavy things. And all that they do to my stomach is this: embarrassing results. So next time, I'm just going to have just 2 bananas before I'm going to give a speech or something, and make sure that if I'm not speaking, I am muted, just muted. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. I think I cannot handle that topic really well the way you did. All right. So moving to our next storyteller, Abu, none other than Abu. Over to you.
Thank you, Meenakshi.
While reversing your
While
car, you banged into your neighbor's new bike parked outside his premises. Over to you.
mm, mm, oh ho oh ho, this bike is no longer new now. What should I do? Is someone watching me? Oh, I see a lot of people gathered in the balcony. Now, there are two things that I can do. I can either apologize, or I can blame my neighbor for parking it incorrectly. If I apologize, what's going to happen? Then make my life miserable. Let me go the other way around. Let me blame my neighbor. So I now need to go ahead and create a scene. Okay. So what I have done is I have created a scene where everybody is there. I call my neighbor as well, and I tell him that your new bike, look at the damage that my car has got. I have to pay a bloody 20 grand, and your damage is only 2,000. So you will pay me 18,000. For somehow he is confused as to why is he blaming me. I have successfully managed to get out of it. So whenever you are stuck, people, it's very important to realize how to manage and handle this particular situation. Let's go with another case wherein I apologize. Okay, so I go back being a good citizen, being a good human being. Second situation, I have banged my neighbor's car. I walk up to him and I tell him, I'm sorry, that I have gone ahead and I have, your bike doesn't look new at all. but whatever it is, let me go ahead and pay you the compensation. He is completely aggressive now because it is his new bike, and we know how unlucky it is to get banned. He says he doesn't want our compensation, but he's going to sue me. Now, once again, I come back to my original situation. Okay, sue. Now I'll not go ahead and I'll pay you the money. So that is all both the situations I have explained. Over to the moderator, Meenakshi.
Thank you, Abu. I wish that's not my bike. All right, great. So Geeta, Nisha, Anushka, we couldn't cover you because of the time, right? But the next session, you three are going to be the first ones. All right. Over to you, Abu. We had a great session.
Thank you so much. Now it's the voting time. Param, can you please go ahead and... So, Meenakshi, I suppose you can see the results.
That's right.
Okay.
Somebody has stopped the poll in between.
Oh.
Okay, I'm relaunching the poll. I'm just relaunching the poll.
Okay.
Again, somebody has stopped polling.
Are we narrating the story or of the result?
No.
No,
I hope they can't do that in US polls.
Right. These days, polls and voting is quite difficult. So, Meenakshi, can you see the winners?
Right. So I think we have a tie today, and the tie is between Haritosh and Taiba. Well, both of you did a great job. I mean, it's so difficult to choose one. And all of you, I mean, fabulous storytelling. Yeah, a round of applause to everyone.
Look at the irony. It was about food and weight loss.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Now I would like to request Shradha to come forward and share the declare of the story hashtag make me a storyteller activity.
Wow, what a wonderful session we had today. Lovely hearing all the stories, and especially the activities which was posted on the group. It was such a difficult task, so very difficult. Everybody had their own USPs. So I think, as we are saying, sharing a story, it's all sharing mode here right now. So we have a tie again, and it is between Vikram Poddar and Haritosh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shradha, can you please introduce?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, guys, our next keynote speaker is Primrose Gandhi, who is a Mumbai-based but Melbourne-based fiction writer. I'm sorry, Mumbai-raised but Melbourne-based fiction writer. Her latest book, 116th, which she has self-published online, is a romance set in Mumbai in the 2000s. The book tries to weave in the city's fast-paced, razor-shaped vibe into the complicated lives of its two main protagonists, Samir and Aliza. Primrose has published a number of short stories in the past and was invited to speak at the Jaipur Literature Festival when it was specially brought to Melbourne in February 2017. So please welcome, with a big round of applause, Primrose Gandhi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Primrose, and I live in Melbourne. But of course, as Shradha mentioned, I'm from Mumbai. And first of all, I just wanted to thank Shradha for such an amazing session. I learned a lot. In fact, it's going to help us a lot with the next session that I want to have, which is about setting a great scene But of course, in a book, when you're writing something, and I think that it's not just if you want to write, but even when you're reading, it's good to be able to understand why is it that some scenes really connect with us and stay with us, whereas others we tend to forget. So that is going to be what we're going to focus on in the session with me. So it will make a great segue from Shradha's session to mine. And what I want you guys to do is just go back, think of the best books you've ever read, and think of the scenes that, and try and identify the scenes that, you know, really are evocative and they really have connect with you in some way, and try and think about why. And if you're looking for some inspiration, you can always check out my novel, 116th. You'll find it on 116.com, and I'll also share it with everyone on the WhatsApp group. And you can always try and read a couple of chapters there and try and pick out some scene from it that really sort of resonates with you. In the next session, I'll be discussing some scenes that I've written and why I try to set it the way I did. And also, hopefully, some of the sessions, some of the scenes that I hope you guys can share on the WhatsApp group. So it'll also be a good way for you guys if you want to make little videos of practicing storytelling by reading out a scene maybe, and it could help with voice modulation and things like that. So it would be great to have all of you and speak to you and try and deconstruct stories that we have read this time, not stories necessarily from our lives. So yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Thanks to you for sharing the tips, and I'm definitely going to read your book too. Can't wait for the link. All right.
So.
Thanks. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I completely loved the session and the energy of the session today. The audience section was the best one. I think I did not laugh this much in the whole month, I would say. Great. All right. Now I would like to call Abu on the stage. Over to you, Abu.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, Abu, you are.
Great. Thank you so much, people. It's always such a wonderful journey calling people together. It's very important for us to thank the keynote speaker, Shradha. Shradha, thank you so much. We've been planning this for such a long time. And, it's not only about preparation, it's about that complete demeanor that you carry. You were there, present, planning, executing. I have to say that you planned like a German and you have executed like a Japanese. So great job done, Shradha. Okay. And it is very important to go ahead and appreciate Meenakshi. Meenakshi, she's under the weather. But when it comes to work, she's going to define everything. Now, this is called true commitment. And this is what makes us so proud about each other. Thank you so much, Meenakshi. You were under the weather. You could have always called in to cancel. You did not do that. That's professionalism, and that's called being about your true character. Okay. Let's look at our timer, Santia. Now, this is very, very difficult, with when somebody is doing such a great job to intervene, be the bad guy, and stop that person to ensure that time is not exceeded. So congratulations for being that bad guy, because at times when you want to do good, you have to be bad. Okay. And last but not the least, Paramjot. I can go, when it comes to Paramjot, my session will start at 9 and will end at 10. It's the most important thing is you definitely do not have to be the best. What is required is you need that attitude. And Paramjot has that attitude. You give him anything, he will always be a learner and a savior. So thank you so much. And after this, I'm sure we all saw that Navy picture as well. But after looking at your picture, I'm sure guys envy you and girls desire you, Param, more. So great job on that, Param. Okay. I have to tell you all of these that Primrose currently stays in Australia. The time in Australia is 1 a.m. Can you beat that? It's 1 a.m. But look at that smile on her face. Look at that participation. When people go that out of the way to help us make this show a success, I'm sure nobody can stop this from being a super duper hit. So Primrose, thank you for today. And we'll definitely thank you on 10th as well. So thank you so much, Primrose. Okay. I also have to make an announcement when it comes to Shefali Arora, The Infinite Road. Her book is now there on Kindle. Now, Shefali, you have done a great job. I wish you all the best. And people, you have to check out her book. Okay. It takes a lot of effort to go ahead and publish your book and write your book. So I would recommend, request you people to please go ahead and read the book. And it is very important to give feedback to people. The best part is now we know the authors. Your feedback, your genuine feedback will always help them to become better, and they deserve appreciation because they have worked day in and day out. So thank you so much, Shefali. I wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot, Abu.
Thank you. And now I've got this final announcement, people. Until December is something that we are going to manage. But post-December, we are going to have somebody else manage this show as well. What we have learned, or what personally I have learned from this entire keynote speech coordination, I always used to take the spotlight only for a change, and only because of Paramjot Singh, I have taken a backseat. And because of taking backseat, I have realized the power of coordination. I don't have any official degree in MBA, but you'll be surprised. These kind of platforms will help you prepare for your MBA role. If you are looking for an internship, this is one of the internships that you can have. So after this meeting, we'll have a flyer that will be sent out. Anybody who wants to coordinate people. Again, I'm telling you, it's not an easy job to coordinate. But trust me, the kind of lessons that you are going to learn is not prevalent anywhere. This will be life examples. So we will be reaching out to people, and we want them to carry forward the show. The best part is, and I'm sure everybody knows, until December, all roles have been fixed now. How does that sound to all of you? So we are working 2 months in advance. Until December, we have fixed almost every role. Okay, so it's amazing to do the work of coordination. Last but not the least, it's now time for picture. And today's pose will come from Geeta ma'am. Geeta ma'am, can you give us or show us a true pose, a new pose, and we are all going to follow that pose and click the picture. Guys, may I request you to please come on the camera, and yes, Geeta ma'am, let's go for it. Some crazy. They say if you are crazy, you are normal, and if you are normal, you are boring. So can we have a normal pose? That means a crazy pose from you, Geeta ma'am. Okay, guys, this is the crazy pose. Sneha, if you can click the picture, or Param, if you can click the picture, that's a very creative pose. Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, people. Thank you so much. That will be all from my end or our end. It is always so nice to have all of you. Let's ensure we come together, people. Something that is worth investment, and something that will always go along with you is when you invest in your skills. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's be the captain of our own ship. On that note, I am Shradha, on behalf of Leaders and Readers Book Club, call off this particular meeting. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening and night ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Everyone.